Hello fellas, what is going on? We got a pretty cool video today. I'm sure by now most of you guys have heard about the crackdown of the EPA on the non-emissions tuning. You know, PPEI, EFI Live, you know, a whole crapload of them. They're basically shut down. The EPA is finally cracking down on the off-road only and race use only that it was being sold as. And you know, when you did that tune, when you did a non-emissions tune, or you did you know, a delete of your EGR or DPF, you had to usually sign like a little waiver saying that you're only going to use this for off-road use, racing use. Well, we all know that was bullshit. So they yeah, they're cracking down. So emissions tuning is going to get even more popular now. Yeah, there is quite a few out there already, but it's going to get even more popular now for sure, because they, you know, they're going to start yanking trucks off the road and stuff eventually. But anyway, so today, yeah, we have the Banks Derringer for the 6.7 Powerstroke with the 1.8 I- data monster. We're going to hook it up, and it's not for this truck. It's not going to live inside this truck, because you all know this truck's getting traded in. It's actually going to be designated for the 550 because of, you know, the 30,000 pounds that I tow all the time with that thing. The extra horsepower, the extra boost will help that thing along quite a bit. So every level you go up, you're gaining 10 horsepower and roughly 20 torque. So you're getting 60 horsepower and 120 torque out of this tuner. So that's bringing you up to pretty much what the factory numbers will be for the 2020. This being a 17, this is at 440 horsepower and 925 torque. So we're very close to what the factory numbers will be for the 2020. The Derringer, it is definitely the safest tuner out there because it goes through your ECU. It's always communicating with your truck. It's communicating with your transmission. It's communicating with your exhaust temperatures. It's communicating with everything. Everything that's going on inside the truck, the Derringer knows, the data monster knows. So if it needs to limit the power, it can do that. It has fail safes that if for some reason you lose power to the module, your truck will automatically just go back into stock mode. So it's not like you're driving down the road like some tuners and you lose power and all of a sudden your truck just dies. Your truck just shuts off. This won't happen. It has fail safes built inside of it, and it actually monitors itself as well. So another advantage with the Derringer is because of that, because of going to your ECU, it as soon as you unhook it, it's non-traceable. So if you take it into a dealer, they don't know it was ever even hooked up. Whereas other tuners, especially the flash tuners, they can tell. They can tell that there was something going on inside the truck that was not from factory. So the Derringer does two things. It adds more fuel and it adds more air. And it does it according to what you need. Some tuners do that. Some tuners go through your map sensor and your FRP sensor. Some do. Some just go through your FRP and just shoot a bunch of fuel inside there. And when your engine's running hot and your EGTs are high, shooting more fuel in there is not a good idea. So this will, like I said, this is always communicating. So it always lets you know, it always knows what to do and what not to do. So you're getting more air, you're getting more fuel. So anyway, very easy install. Like I said, this is not going to live inside of this truck. This is going to be in the 550. But it's so damn easy to install that I want to try it in this truck. So here's what you have with the kit. This is the the 1.8 I- data monster. That's going to go inside. When I ordered this, I did not know that it didn't come with like the suction cup mount. So I'm just going to have to leave it loose inside the truck for now. But hopefully by the time I go up and get this installed on the 550, I will have that. But here's the actual unit itself. That's going to be under the cab. Basically all you're doing is interrupting your FRP sensor and your map sensor, and then routing this back to the Derringer. And then from there you have your starter cable, they call it, which goes through your firewall. Inside, this goes to your OBD2 port, which then goes to the which goes to the I-, and this goes to the I-. Very easy, like very, very easy. I've already skipped 2 steps ahead just because I didn't need you guys seeing me struggle with one of the steps. But obviously the first step is to disconnect your negative battery terminals, because you don't want any power going through this while you're doing this. So we got those disconnected, and the hardest part about this whole install, guys, is going to be punching a wall through your grommet out through your firewall. That's going to be your hardest job of this whole thing. I have an actual electrical snake, which is what I'm using. But there's where it comes through. I'll show you under the hood. That is your grommet right down in there. That's gonna be the hardest thing through this whole install. So I already have that run through, and all I'm gonna do is electrical tape my my starter cable that goes through the firewall to that. I'm gonna mount my Derringer here somewhere, because like I said, it's gonna be temporary. Your map sensor is up top. That's this guy right here. And the other hard part of this is your FRP sensor is right down in there. So that's going to be a little bit difficult to get at, but we'll get it, and that's basically it. So let's just hook those up, guys, and let's start. It is extremely tight quarters with these Powerstrokes, as you guys know. It is the one beauty of the Cummins for sure. Okay, that's clicked on. Grab our factory sensor. Plug it in here to intercept. Alright, so that's that one. So now we got to get at the FRP sensor, which is right down in there. Alright guys, so I got it hooked up. It is hooked up down there. Everything's intercepted. If I was gonna hook this up full time, what I would have done is I would have ran the cable down back here behind your pipe intake here, and I would have brought it out through and then down in, so then your wires are tucked back here out of the way. But where I'm just doing this temporary, I don't really care. So this is coming out, this is going to your Derringer. So this is coming out and going to your Derringer, so we're gonna do that right now. Okay, so I have the starting cable connected to the Derringer, and be very careful, guys, to make sure you line these up right. These are gold plated, and you do not want to damage those. There's actually two little grooves on the top of the starter cable that line up with the grooves on the Derringer, and then all you do is just bring it down to lock it in place. So it's locked in place right now. It's in there nice and tight. So now I'm going to tape this. I'm going to tape this to my fishing tool, and I'm going to fish that through the firewall. All right, we got that all taped up. I'm going to go inside and now hopefully pull this thing through. Okay, so you want like 4 feet inside of here, and basically that is so that you can take off your cover here, because eventually you're either going to put a pillar mount in, or you're going to put your suction cup mount, and it's probably going to go right here. You take this panel off, this panel pops right off. You can tuck the wire inside of there, hide the wire in there, run it up, hook it up to your gauge. But where I do not have the suction cup or the pillar mount with me right now, I'm actually just going to road it down here. I'm going to zip tie it up there, and I'm going to run my gauge over and just hold it in here for right now. So that's all I'm going to do for right now. Guys, so now we can connect our OBD port, which is right here. Snap that guy in, and again you would run this up in the same place, you know, bring it down around your cable or run it up right there, and then bring it up through, tuck it in here and hook up to your iDash. But where I do not have that, again, I'm not going to do that. So in the back of your data monster, there's a 6 sort of plug connection and a 4 plug connection. The 6 plug connection is the one coming through your firewall. The 4 plug is the one coming through your OBD port. So very, very straightforward. So I'm going to hook up those and put the black cap, which I'll show you in a second, on the Derringer, and that's pretty much it. Hey guys, so in your data monster box, which is, I never even mentioned the stickers. These stickers have to be the best stickers I've ever seen. So in your data monster box, you're going to have a black cap, which is what you use on the top of your Derringer. if you have the iDash system, the data monster. If you have just the switch system, you're gonna have a gray switch that's gonna come with your Derringer kit itself. So once we pop that on, we're ready to connect the battery and fire it up and make sure we have power to this thing. Okay, so again, you're gonna see two little grooves on the very top right there, two little black grooves. That's gonna line up with the grooves on the Derringer. So line them up. Again, gold plated, don't screw them up. All right, we are ready to connect our battery cables now, our negative terminals. And then I'm going to fire it up, make sure this thing, lights up, and then I'm gonna just fasten some wire ties for right now, and check this thing out. All right guys, it is the moment of truth. Let's see what happens here. There we go. Here we are. RPMs. Let's rev it up a bit for a second. Yep. All seems good in here. Alright guys, everything is looking good. Everything is working. I went through my checked out my diagnostics here. I checked the vehicle for codes. No codes, so perfect. We're good to go. So I'm not going to get into too much of changing this stuff right now. I'll get into that later, but that's the installation basically. So since this, since this goes through your ECU and it is learning with your truck, it's connected to everything basically. There is sort of like a step that you're supposed to do. You are able to adjust this on the fly, no problem, if you want to up more power or decrease the power. But it does say that to start out with, put it in stock mode, which is in right now. Get your vehicle up to its operating temperatures, which it will be here in a second. And then it does say to put it in level 3 and drive it for like 5 to 10 miles, get the transmission, shifting through, get used to the tuner. And then if you want to put it up to level 6, then you put it up to level 6 and repeat that same step, and then you're good to go. After that, you're set and good to go. So once I get out of the site here, I will put it up to level 3. And the beauty about the Derringer, there's a couple things. One, it shows your power level along here is where you increase the power levels and whatnot with this button, these buttons right here. But it also shows you when power is being added. So it goes off your throttle. So if you're just, putting along, there's no power being added at all. So like daily driving around town, you're not burning through more fuel when you don't need to be. It gives you the power when you need it. So when you come onto it or the vehicle's struggling, you're pulling a load, that's when it adds the power, and it will show the power increase right here as long as you have it on this screen. But I mean, there's all kinds of other screens that you can go through. But like I said, we're not going to get into that too much today because there's just way too much. So you can select all different parameters. You can make all kinds of stuff going on here. But for right now, we're just gonna go back to our main screen. If I can remember how to do that. So there's a Derringer. Yeah, so here we are. So you can have tons of screens going on at the same time. But for now, we're just gonna get this thing up to operating temperature. And then we're gonna boost it up to level 3, drive it for a little bit, put it up to level 6, and that's it. All right guys, so we are up to operating temperature now. We are good to go. So I'm gonna put this up to level 3. Okay guys, so we're up to operating temperature now. So I'm gonna put this up to level 3. and we're just gonna go for a drive. I'm trying my best to set this up so that you can see what's going on right now. So we're just merging on the highway, and you can see just, you know, putting along, nothing's being added. So let's get on to it a little bit. And there's some power starting to go. More throttle, adding more power. Right now, you know, just merging on the highway. So let's get on to it a bit. There's, you know, full power. So right now we're in level 3, so we would be roughly 30 horsepower, roughly 60 torque is what we would be in right now. I can feel a difference. Absolutely, I can feel a difference. Oh, we got bumped up to level 4, back down to level 3. Here we are cruising right now, level 3, add some more power. Yeah guys, I can feel a difference for sure. Actually gives you a warning when you're going when you're going faster than what it thinks you should be. Set the cruise. There's my RPMs. 1750 according to the Derringer. That's what I am at right now on my display. So I'm gonna drive for a few minutes here, you know, and let it get through a few more cycles, and then I'm going to put it in level 6, and we'll see what happens. Guys, we've been driving around for a while now, so we're gonna pop this thing up to level 6. There she is. This thing is so clear. Like, even with the glare, it is so clear you can see it. All right, so level 6. On the Derringer, you know, just putting along. There's nothing being added. Even in level 6, so right now we should have 60 horsepower and 120 foot-pounds of torque additional on top of stock. Shifts are very smooth as always. So we are going to merge on a highway here. I know there's no power being added right now, but it honestly feels quicker already just putting around. Like, it just seems like it's the throttle response is much quicker. Well, let's merge on the highway here. Seems like it. Certainly seems like it wants to go. Seems to me like it has some extra power, guys, for sure. They've dynoed this. A bunch of guys have dynoed, you know, the Duramax, and it's gotten like exactly what it was supposed to get. I'll put a link to the Banks video where they compare other tuners down in the description. But seems to me like it's got some more jam. Seems to me like it's got some more power, guys, that's for sure. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's got some more power. There's no doubt about that. Alright, so like I said, this is going to live inside of my 550. And it's mainly for towing, to give it some more torque, give it some more horsepower when towing my 8-ton Kubota. But I'm definitely gonna have to get another one of these for sure. So this, as of right now, will not work with the new 10-speed. They'll have to reconfigure that, so there will be a new one coming out for the 2020 model Superduties, that's for sure. But it works great. It works great. It's so easy to change in and out. Like, now that I've done it, now that I've got the hole, you know, through the firewall, through the grommet, definitely will be hooking up a trailer to this thing again and towing with it to see, you know, how I think about that. That's one big thing. When you're really struggling, that's when the power will be kicking in. So it's perfect for towing. The whole concept is perfect. You know, Banks, they make the best stuff, man. Like, they really do. But so this is only gonna last inside of this truck for today and tomorrow, and then when I leave to go to New Brunswick for work, I'm gonna be taking this with me, unhooking it, taking it with me, and popping it in the 550. So I'm really excited to see it in the 550. Alright guys, level 6 from a stop. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's more pull there. I could feel the tires like digging, you know what I mean? Like that flexing feeling in the tires, digging into the asphalt. I could feel that. I've never felt that before. There is 100% more power going through this. I cannot wait to hook up a trailer to this thing. I cannot wait to hook up the 550 to the trailer to see how that does, but definitely gonna be doing a towing test with this vehicle before it's gone. Do that tow test again that I did, you know, 25,000 pounds, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, there's more power there. I'd love to do a fuel mileage loop. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have time to do that today or tomorrow before I leave. But I'd love to do my fuel mileage loop to see what I do get for fuel mileage, because, you know, that is one of the things that it's supposed to increase your fuel mileage a bit. It seems to me like the RPMs are a bit higher, so I'm gonna dig into that. I'm actually gonna dig into that. I tried to call the Banks customer support, but, you know, me being in Nova Scotia here at 9:30 in the morning, them being down in California, they're not open. So I'll definitely get in touch with them later just to see, hey, you know, does this like recalibrate the shift points and you know, the RPMs in your transmission? Does it sort of configure your transmission a bit, or am I just imagining things? But anyway, guys, yeah, it definitely, oh yeah. I mean, this truck had a lot of power before, but it's got more power now. Absolutely, absolutely. Anyway, guys, we are back home. There's more power, absolutely. I'll definitely, you know, going ahead further in the future, I'll definitely get this on the dyno for sure. Test it in stock, test it in level 6 to see the numbers are what everybody else is getting. But yeah, there's definitely more power there. There's no way about it. You can feel it. You can feel it pull. You can feel it dig. Yeah, I can't wait to hook it up to the 550 and hook up to the big trailer, 30,000 pounds, and tow with it. But anyway, guys, for now, that's it. Any questions at all on the install? Very easy, very simple. No real tools involved at all, really, to be honest. So any questions at all, send them to me. I'll definitely respond. First impression is good. Really, really, really good. All right, guys. See ya. Bye.